Welcome to Learn English on YouTube. Between the Cameras and the Heart, an original story from our channel. Chapter 2. Between the Cameras and Kilometres. If you want to watch Chapter 1, click on the tag that appears at the top. When Alberto and I got married, I imagined a future filled with love, understanding, and mutual support. And while that still held true, I never anticipated that distance would become one of the greatest challenges we'd face. Our life together began like a fairy tale. I became one of the most recognized actresses in Mexican telenovelas, while Alberto rose as a Hollywood star. Individually, our careers flourished, but the more successful we became, the harder it was to stay close. While I was filming in Mexico City or traveling to Argentina, Brazil, or Spain to promote my shows, Alberto was in Los Angeles, working on film sets that took him to Europe, Asia, and beyond. When he wasn't shooting, he was traveling to promote his movies, walking red carpets and attending glamorous events around the world. Our routine became exhausting and lonely. The nights we used to spend talking until we fell asleep were now replaced by rushed video calls, interrupted by time zone differences or our hectic schedules. The distance was tough, but what really strained our relationship was the relentless eye of the public. The paparazzi never left us alone. As soon as Alberto appeared in public with a co-star, speculation about our relationship would start circulating. Trouble in paradise? Yolanda and Alberto heading for divorce? The headlines followed me everywhere, fueling a narrative of separation that couldn't be further from the truth. The most painful part wasn't the lies themselves, but the doubt they sometimes managed to plant in me. I remember one particularly cruel cover. It showed Alberto at a cafe with a well-known actress, both smiling, and the headline hinted at a new romance. I was in Brazil when I saw it. My heart sank, but I tried to stay calm. I called Alberto immediately. He was in Tokyo, and upon hearing the tension in my voice, he assured me there was nothing to worry about. Yolanda, you know you mean everything to me. These rumors mean nothing, he said firmly. I wanted to believe him, and deep down, I knew he was telling the truth, but it was hard to escape the weight of the lies that seemed to surround us. It wasn't just Alberto under scrutiny. I, too, appeared on covers, photographed with colleagues during dinners or promotional events. The stories the media created were just as cruel, and I often found myself explaining to Alberto that it was all nonsense. Even though we trusted each other, the constant intrigue began to wear us down. There was a moment when I felt like the world was against us. But at the same time, those challenges pushed us to become stronger as a couple. We decided that whenever our schedules allowed, we'd find ways to reconnect. Once, after weeks of tours and filming, Alberto and I managed to escape to a small coastal town in Italy. For 3 days, we were far from cameras, journalists, and rumors. We strolled through cobbled streets, dined by the sea, and simply enjoyed each other. It reminded us why we had fallen in love in the first place. The distance didn't go away, but we learned to handle it with more patience and communication. We also chose to make our efforts to be together more visible. Not for the media, but to show the world that rumors didn't define us. One evening, we hosted a charity dinner in Mexico City and arrived hand in hand, proving with our actions what words alone couldn't deny. Success comes at a cost, but I know what Alberto and I share is real. We've chosen this path together, with all its challenges and rewards. Every time I return home after a long trip, and he's there, waiting with a smile, I'm reminded that the love we have is stronger than any distance or sensational headline. And that's all that matters. Awesome! Let's see how well you remember the new words. It's time for the vocabulary challenge. Time to practice. Challenge number 1. Pause the video and comment a sentence using one of the new words you learned today. Now it's your turn. Write your own sentence using one or more words from today's key vocabulary in the comments. Are you ready for challenge number 2? Watch the video again and repeat the words out loud until you can say them clearly. You can use the YouTube chapters and timestamps to jump to the parts you want to practice. And now, challenge number 3. Tell us in the comments. What was the most difficult word for you today? Now it's your turn. Write the word that challenged you the most and why. Let's learn together. That's the end of today's story. We hope you enjoyed it and learned some new words along the way. Remember, the best way to learn English is by listening to fun stories like this one. See you next time, English Explorer. If you liked the video, click like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with a friend who is learning English.